One thing that we're going to have to take a look at is the basis for a lot of our problems is a basic American paradigm or worldview. And that is our idea of individual responsibility, an individual success or failure. Yeah. Like I've heard more than one person that said, when you get to be an adult, you're responsible for what happens with your life. Okay, this is a very common belief among Americans. Now, this belief may have some good effects. It may act as a motivator to get people into action. So it probably has some good effects. It also has a lot of negative effects. Obviously, children do not fit into that paradigm. This is one reason why children are so likely to be homeless and to be food insecure. Children don't pick their parents. This is also why we have such a high abortion rate, higher than that of Western European countries where abortion is legal. Okay, and this is all why we have such a high rate of homelessness and a high rate of crime. Okay, when there is not a huge chasm between simple, humble failure and the humiliation of imprisonment, then a person is likely to turn to crime. Okay, as a capitalist system advances, it automatically works against traditional morals because how you are treated is simply a function of how much money you have. My ex-husband knew somebody who had worked as a waiter in an expensive restaurant. When this gangster would come into the restaurant, everybody was very happy. And they all treated him very well. He gave good tips. He's a murderer. They knew that. But he gave good tips. He wasn't like the homeless man on the street who was a failure, who hadn't taken a shower in the last couple of months. Okay. You know, in a third world country, very often you don't get as many homeless because the extended family will pick up the weaker members. In a Western European country, you may not get as many homeless because the government will pick up its weaker members. In America, the weaker members are allowed to sink. They're just allowed to sink. And then again, I want to point out again that success and failure are measured in terms of money. And that does work against traditional morals. We have a lot of people working against abortion. Okay. Now the problem is, the woman who has the abortion in a few years is probably going to be a lot more financially successful than the woman who has the baby. And she will be looked down upon because of the fact that she goes to the grocery store and pays with food stamps or WIC. Okay. Often by the same people who oppose legal abortion. You know, And again, I'm not making this thing about abortion. I'm making it about our paradigm and how it affects our poverty rate, how it affects our crime rate. Because, again, you might as well, become a criminal, because you're going to get the, like some gangster said, I got the best wines, I got the expensive clothing, I got a good house. He was in prison then. But for a while, crime did pay. By contrast, a similar man who obeyed the law but wasn't making much money, could be looked down upon. And in addition, a similar man